Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for Manga Monday, Part 2 with Goodbye Eri, Part 2. It should be good. Let's read it. God, I wish that could be the whole intro. That would be so sick. That'd be the fastest intro that I've ever done. It's not. It's not because we actually have just one thing that we have to address about the comments and discussion for the last time. It's really, really small, and it is this. I got some criticism for the way that I criticized Yuta's suicidal ideation speechy thing. I think that the criticisms that I received are valid. I think that Yuta's also a piece of shit for trying to hurt everybody around him by killing himself. It's about the least good thing that you can do, and it's really fucked up. That said, 100% yelling at somebody and saying how stupid they are for wanting to commit suicide is not a helpful way to address it, and not in any way how I would address it if it were a real situation. That said, Yuta's a little shit who's actively trying to hurt everybody around him by killing himself. He's not really... he doesn't deserve any respect, and he could go and do it for all I care. You see, I'm being a little bit facetious here. Look, his attitude pisses me off, honestly. It's really fucked up, and that's part of the hurdle, isn't it? Because the way that we need to treat suicidal people is actually different from that. That said, Yuta's situation's pretty unique and kind of filmic and kind of in a story and kind of like weird. So we'll leave it there. I think I agree. I definitely would not say any of those things to him. I definitely am still pissed at him, and I think that if you become, how do I put it? If I set aside his actual existing trauma from his mom dying, and I just look at his response to the way that everyone is treating his art, which is really what's going on here, is that Yuta made a heartfelt art. What it actually contains is almost irrelevant. He made a heartfelt art, and he failed to convey what he was trying to convey. And then everybody laughed at him because they're cruel monsters, and that's reality. Sorry, true. And then he got pissed and decided that the best way to deal with that would be to go and kill himself in order to show them, while telling his dad in the video that it's all to hurt them, and totally ignoring that he's hurting his father or anyone else around. You know, it's like so thin and fucked and shitty. It's just so shitty. Ugh. So, I think where I'm coming at this from, or what I'm coming away from this from, which maybe is more important. Fujimoto wrote something really interesting here. Okay. Step back for a second. Whatever you think about suicide, whatever you think about Yuta's particular perspective on suicide, whatever you think about the whole, people causing trauma to other people hurting people, boys freaking the fuck out and going and shooting up schools in order to hurt people as a counterpoint to what Yuta's doing, whatever you think about literally any of it, you're gonna have a reaction and a thought to Yuta's whole circumstance. He goes from zero to suicide and, damn, his whole coping mechanism for his mother's death, which he's super deeply separated from, cameras running away, fuck, is to make a movie about it. He doesn't realize that it's weird. And then he shows it to everybody, and they all go, that was weird. And he goes, fuck you. Fuck you. You did this to me. I'm gonna go jump. Whatever you think about any piece of that whole circumstance, you gotta admit it's pretty interesting. You gotta admit, from a purely aliens watching humans circumstance, that's fucking crazy. The amount of story density that happened there was a lot. Hey, you know how many chapters of Poon Poon we had to read before we got some real juicy family drama? Like 2 at least. 2. We didn't have to read any. None. 0. It was just there. It's an instant. It's instant. Fujimoto hits us with Mom is dying on page 2. And then, and then he hits us with, it was all a film. Just right there. And then he hits us with the response to that goes totally apeshit weird from Yuta's perspective. He's got no comprehension of why everybody else sees this as strange. The whole scene where he's just standing there with his teacher, and the teacher is like, but why would you do this, though? And Yuta's just like, well, why wouldn't I do this, though? I had the footage. It's jaw-dropping. It's jaw-dropping. It's really excellent. It's amazingly accurate to human reality. Because people do shit that's super weird, all the time without any comprehension of what they're doing. It's a context, it's an information, it's an ignorance thing, it's all these layers, but like you step out of Yuta's perspective and you look at what Yuta's doing, that's weird. You go into Yuta's perspective and it's like point A follows from point B, follows from you just next to next, and it all makes perfect sense. Weirdly, this is part of why I think it's such a useful way of looking at the way that humans think and act and stuff, but weirdly, this is exactly what happens with large language models. I'm all up in the code and stuff, and in the language models. They're cool. Basics. Take word. What word comes next? Okay, what word comes next? What word comes next? Given everything that's happened before, what word comes next? And that's the whole thing. Whole thing. It's what the whole thing does. And you can ask it a question. Tell me how to skin a cat. Oh, God. Brutal. I should not have said that. I just said it because it was an idiom. Oh. Oh. I had almost sort of forgotten that my beloved cat died last week. I found her on the road. She'd been hit by a car. Anyway. Yeah, ask ChatGPT how to skin a cat. We're going to stick with it. Sorry. It'll give you a whole paragraph about how to do it. And it'll be wrong. And you can go, hey, is that thing that you said right? And it'll go, no, that's fucking crazy. I was teaching you how to do this. I taught you how to go to the moon first. Why? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But for each word that it generated, at the time when it generated them, it made perfect sense all the way through. And then it stops. You look back at the thing. No sense at all. You just the same way. Every step makes perfect sense from his perspective. Well, I have all this footage, and there's a festival coming up. I might as well cut it down. And then once I've cut it down, I might as well add music to it. And then once there's music to it, I guess it's a movie, and I gotta show it to somebody, right? It's just like clickety-clickety-clack. A leads to B leads to C, right? And then you step away from it, and you look back at it, and you go, Yuta, is what you did right? And Yuta goes, what the fuck? No! So that's really interesting. I think it's really interesting how dense our story is immediately. It's shocking, actually. It is, and people have mentioned this a couple of times, quite filmic. The thing that people have mentioned a bunch about the show or the manga is that the paneling is interesting. We get all these, here, pull it up. We get all these 4-panel bop 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 beats, right? Nothing changes over the 4 panels, or nothing changes until the last panel, or we hold space and time really quietly and slowly. There's one panel, one page of this in Oyasumi Punpun, and it's excellent. I think Inio Asano is a goddamn genius when it comes to paneling. Maybe Fujimoto is too. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen one format of Fujimoto. I've seen a couple dozen formats of Asano all throughout Punpun. It's a much longer manga. I've seen much more, so I'm not up to it yet. But maybe we're in the middle of Genius now as well. I just haven't seen enough to know. Certainly a lot of people have indicated that they feel like it's the case. Asano has one panel like this. It's Punpun and Eiko in the car. And it's amazing. It's like a stunner, because this is not the way the rest of the manga feels. And then you put one page that's like this into the manga, and the reader goes, what's going on? That's weird. Wah! But if you ease us into it and you do a bunch of those all after each other, and we're used to these, like, one scene across 4 panels storyboarded across in a way that you can sort of take it all in at once sort of vibes, then it just doesn't do anything to you. You become sort of frog in hot water inundated with it. It's fine. It's normal. It's totally okay. But it's not. This is weird as shit. This is not how manga looks. Really important to note that. We could go find any other manga. It doesn't look like this. It also doesn't look like this. The facial expressions don't look like this. It's not trying to make its characters pretty or cute or, like, sexy or sleek or stylized. It's just people-ish and kind of gross, honestly. Like, you know, they're people. Yeah, they're, like, simplified, and you can sort of layer yourself into them. Less her, because she's more detailed than Yuta is, because he's more masking effecty than she is. But they're kind of lame and gross. Is how I would actually describe the art style of the people in this manga. They suck. No. Not that they're poorly drawn. Not that they're bad in any way, shape, or form. but they're not fun or stylish or sexy or sleek or interesting or shiny or any of the things that manga characters always are. Even Poon Poon characters are like cute. Well, Poon Poon is. And then everybody else is really fucking gross. Like really gross. Asano does this like way more. This is way less than the Asano stuff. But they're thin, flat, simple. Not stylish, stylized. It's interesting. So all these bits of particulate cloud are creating my perception of what the fuck this manga is. And overall, at present, my answer, after 1 week of simmering and percolating, is I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. But it's a movie, isn't it? Isn't it? It is. And so, some would say, bruh, then you should read it all at once. And to them I say, fuck you, I will do what I want. I will do as I please. I did have a point. Mostly people have commented on the paneling aspect as the movie-ness or the cinematic-ness or the filmic-ness. I would comment narratively on density. This is something that's always true about film. Good film. Interesting film? I don't know. Apparently Fujimoto really likes film, so there's a real problem with film. It's the primary limiting factor of film. It's the length. You can't make it that long. You gotta make it relatively short. And the shorter you make it, if you can tell the story that you want to tell, and you can tell it in the period that you need to tell it, the better. Essentially. Because then you could just tell more story, right? So, even if you only have an hour and a half of story to tell, if you could tell an hour and a half of story in half an hour, you could tell 3 half hours of story. That would be a lot more story. That'd be really great. Maybe. But if you've got 8 hours of story to tell, you need to be able to tell that in an hour and a half as well. And if you've got 80 years of story to tell, you got to be able to tell that in an hour and a half as well. And if you're going to tell a 2,000-year epic, you might have to tell that in an hour and a half also. So whether you're telling the story of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the one day where Ferris Bueller takes a day off, or you're telling the 1,000-year epic of the 100-million-year war between whatever and whoever, whatever the fuck it is that you're trying to tell, you still need to do it in the same time frame, essentially. That's a problem. But it's led to some really interesting solutions, and those solutions have led to some real powerful tricks of narrative density. And, like, how do you fold things together and do shorthand character development and rapid scene escalation and really fast bring your audience up to speed to exactly where you're at. And those tricks, all woven together, stylized, articulated for the express purpose of expressing a purpose. Nice, I'm proud of that. Lead to a filmic feel, are a filmic feel. And so when we come into Goodbye Eri, and our first frames tell us everything about the whole thing, and all the thing just is immediately there, that's like a pretty good intro scene to a film. You know, there's a theory that, like, your first scene should have everything in your film, like, should tell the whole story. Well, this is the first scene of Goodbye Eri. Hi, I have a camera, it's my birthday, things are great, my mom is dying, she wants me to observe her existence through a camera. I don't feel so good about that, but I'm gonna do it. And that's the fucking intro. And that's like, wow. What's crazy is I don't even know if that's the whole story, but that's a whole lot of story in a couple of frames. It's like a whole lot. Whew. All to say, so far, if Fujimoto's goal is to draw a movie in a manga, so far so good. If Fujimoto's goal is to make character interactions and sequences that generate strong emotional responses on every side, angle, portion of the spectrum, so far so good. If Fujimoto's goal was to produce the faces that I made when this frame came up. So far, so good. I think Fujimoto is hitting the goal. So what the fuck is the goal? Because we just met, like, a weird girl on a hospital roof. Weird place to hang out, by the by. No explanation of why she was there. Gotta be clear about that. Because if she was there, she's like, I'm a nurse here. I'm a patient. My grandpa's dying. That makes tons of sense. No explanation of why she's here. Does she just hang out there? Is this where she finds gullible boys who are going to kill themselves? What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Straight out of nowhere. Straight out of nowhere. Weird. Takes him to a dark, spooky, abandoned building. Somehow has power. Meh. And plays movies. And that's it. And now he's going to make him watch a bunch of movies and then make a movie. And that's our whole story so far. I'm going to throw out a bullshit, stupid Hail Mary. Stupid as fuck. Really dumb. Okay? I'm aware of how dumb this is. I don't think this is the plot of the story. However, you know, you get a chance sometimes to make like a 1 in 100 chance play. And if you nail it, it's worth a lot. And if you fail, it's almost worth nothing. So sometimes you want to just take that shot regardless. Here's me taking the shot. Eri doesn't exist. She's a figment of narrative imagination. Either Yuta's or the stories. It doesn't really matter because we're in a film, like we're not in reality. She doesn't exist. He's being Fight Clubbed by himself. Broken, shattered boy. Coping mechanism. Generate a person. Offset all your shit. Somebody who's calm and reserved and normal. Generate his perfect movie making babe. And she'll teach him how to make movies. Do I think that this is the actual story? No. But on the 1 in 100, man, on the off chance, man, I'm gonna look so fucking smart. I'm gonna catch me in an episode. I'm gonna look so fucking smart when that's true. It's not true. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you know, it's possible. She was showing him Fight Club, I think. Yeah, that right there, that's Fight Club. And she makes that face. Hell yeah. Oh, God. Why you gotta show him Fight Club? It's just like... It had so many layers of bullshit to my perceptions of the thing. Because there's so many layers of bullshit around Fight Club. Everybody's analyzed Fight Club. I've written multiple analyses of Fight Club. I've had my brain bonked on Fight Club by weird feminist theorists. Fight Club's a crazy film. Why is she showing him Fight Club? Because it's a crazy film. And it's a psychological thriller. And I think we're in both. So that's why that's my Hail Mary, is I think she's non-existent or already dead. Like he's talking to a skeleton the whole time or something. Something stupid, you know? But I'm gonna go, it has to be this for me to get the credit points, okay? If it's anything like it, but it's not this, then I don't get the credit points. If she literally doesn't exist and is truly only a figment of Yuta's or the narrative framework's imagination, then I get 1,000,000 internet brownies and you have to subscribe to the Patreon. If I don't get it right, then let's just read the story and we'll find out. How about that? I'm going to cut it there and we'll just move into reading the story. How about that? Yeah? Yeah. All right. Bada bing. Bada. Bada. Boom. Oh, man. And then you got to get your character say shit like, the way it blurred the line between fact and fiction, for me, that was a good puzzle. I mean, you don't have to read deep. You don't have to read that deep into it, right? Some of these frames of Eri's face, expressions, movements, eyes, are so expressive. I think it helps that they suck. I'm joking. I'm sorry. It's amazing. It's actually kind of amazing. I do kind of think they suck. By any traditional standard. By everything that most mangaka strive toward and attempt to be. Most of the facial expressions in Goodbye Eri so far on that front have sucked. And they're the best that I've ever seen. Asano included. That's what's crazy. Like, Asano gets the disconnect. Amazing. Disconnect from the characters. Amazing. I'm connected to the character here. I'm connected to Eri, and I don't know how. It's not the masking effect in play. Like, this is beyond McLeod. This is beyond McLeod. This makes me want to go interview Scott McLeod and force him to read this shit. Blow his brains out. Nah, bad phrasing. Blow his mind. This is really good. It's also immature in its framing. Like, I wonder if that will improve as Yuta begins to see the world more like a cinematographer. Will the framing of his framing actually change? Because this is like, you know, this is very dramatic. It's actually quite effective to be in this it's not a super close up, but it is a close up. For this scene, it is very effective, but it's not like, it's immature. So we'll see how it changes as we move along. This even is better. I think this is such fucking thin bullshit. I don't want to get back into the suicide thing. He was never gonna jump. He was... Okay. We're into the new territory. Should not have stopped with that. Bad transition. All right, here we go. Goodbye Eri. Pars deux. Start off, things out of focus, getting into focus. So looking at something else, moving the camera to something else. He's going to be continuing to record lots of things, I assume. And then we're gonna be in high-speed montage. It feels like we're gonna be in high-speed montage. Like skipping around, vignetting, exploring tiny aspects of the relationship as it builds between these characters so that we feel like we get a full picture, even though we've only gotten little diddly bits. Another film trick, right? We're going to spend... Okay, here's what I would do if this was a film. We just spent the first 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes of the film doing the full setup. Now we're post-setup. This is why I stopped where we did. That's roll to black. Now we're in a new place. Cut to new spot. Perfect spot to stop. Coming into the next 15 or 20 minute segment, like... Foundations. Setup, foundations, character development, build up between the characters. Who are they? What's the norm? What's the status quo? How are things going? And then things go weird. I don't know how they'll go weird, but they will. At least they'll get interesting. They might accelerate or they might go weird, but things will go weird eventually. Right now, like fast montage, right? Fast montage. Okay. During class, I want you to summarize the 5 movies we watched yesterday in one sentence, in only one sentence each. Oh, that's really good. That's like exactly what we just said. Limit down your time frame so that you're actually concise about things. I wish that I could do that. I suck at it. I talk too much. That's why my other channel is called T Talks Too Much. Once you've managed that, break down their stories into exposition, rising action, climax, and resolution in a way you can explain to me. I'll listen to your answers after school. If I do that, I'll be able to make a good movie? This is how they do it in Hollywood. Don't you trust Hollywood? No. No. And after that, in the last scene, the protagonist is able to move forward with a positive attitude. The end. Did I do that right? I guess that's the best I can expect at the start. I'll accept it. Come on, what's with that? Let's buy dinner at a Combini. After school, we'll watch 3 movies minimum every day at that spot. Holy shit. Okay. And then that happens, and then that happens. We don't even have to be there for the scene. That's so cool! Nobody's gonna care about this. I care about this so much. All right, two things, actually. Both of these quattros, 4 panels, 4 comas, whatever, have been the same format. That is, one establishing shot, dialogue, into the next one. One establishing shot, dialogue, into the next one, right? And next, yeah, same thing. Okay. Hey, look, a format. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. I like it. I like that a lot. Summarize them in only one sentence each. This is what I expect you to do. cut to the next scene, finishes the sentence. We don't have to hear any of the sentence. We don't have to hear any of the exposition. We don't have to hear any of it. We know we can fill in the whole school day. That's so cool. Nobody's going to care about this. That's so cool. That's so cool. We can fill in the whole school day. Okay, here we are at the beginning. Here we are at the beginning of the school day. I'll listen to your answers after school, she says. Here he is, answering after school. The whole school day has occurred. What did he do during the school day? Who cares? One thing he definitely did was apply himself and try. He fucked up. He made a mediocre thing. She gives him the, I guess you'll get better. She's endlessly patient, which is weird. Maybe she doesn't exist. Maybe she's a figment of his imagination who's very nice to him. You know? Just maybe. But, the whole school day. The whole day. It was there. We felt it. We experienced it all. That's what's amazing. We experienced all of it, and we didn't see any of it. If I gave the task of creating any facsimile of this scene to any inexperienced writer, they would write out the school day. 100 times out of 100. Right? Express to me a day where one character gives a task to the other character, a difficult intellectual task of like summarizing 5 movies, and then express to me the whole school day as he does that, and then the resolution of this arc. That's your scene to show me. Show me that as a scene. How many immature writers do you think would actually cut out the entire show? The whole scene. Just cut it out, throw it away. You don't need it. You don't need it. It's like words where you can take a full sentence and you just take out all the middle words and you leave the first letter and the last letter and you can just read the whole sentence just fine. No problem. It's so cool. That's so cool. I don't think if I were given that task, I think I would fuck it up. I'm pretty sure. That's really cool. Cone beanie. You're really gonna eat all that? It's not like I'll put on weight anyway. What'd she say? Yo, what'd she say? Yo, you said something that like a ghost would say. You said something that like a person who's not there might say. Huh? Or did he say that? If he said that, then I'm fucked. Then it doesn't make any sense. What is she eating? This is the mystery. This is the important part. Is it ghost food? Is it ghost food? Bitch, you be eating ghost food. I know it. I know it. You don't exist. All right. I don't know. I think this totally explodes my whole theory. My whole theory is like the girl doesn't exist. Well, she went and she bought food and she ate it. So the I won't put on weight thing is suspicious. Bye. Meet me here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Huh? We're watching movies on days off school too? What? You don't want to? You should be glad you get to spend all day with a babe like me. If you have an extracurricular in the way, then quit. Later. Hey, you know what? She's fucking awesome. She's so cool. Format change does a lot here. Bing, bada bing, bong, boom, right? Bong it up, meow. Hey, I did it in sound effects. Really, meow. Everything else has been rising action across the page, right? Start with nothing, into something, into more on the something. Build up foundation, build up on the dialogue, right? Here, dialogue, exits out at a climax, and she disappears. Gone. Silent. Quiet. Left alone. Your life is empty of Eri now. What's the point even? What's the point even? Better be here at 9 a.m. sharp. So, is this her game? She goes to the top of a popular suicide spot and scouts out gullible, impressionable people whose family has just died recently? Is that her game? Like, what is this? Why was she there on top of the hospital in the first place? Nobody knows. Hey, fast montage. Now we're in fast montage. That's cool. Double, triple cool. Okay, double, triple cool. When I said fast montage, this is what I actually meant, was this. Scene, a day goes by, right? 2 pages, a day goes by. Boom. But whoa, didn't expect this. Now we've established the loop. Here's the loop. The loop is school talk, convenience store, go watch movies, say goodbye. School talk, convenience store, go watch movies, say goodbye. Next page. School talk, watch movies, convenience store, watch movies, school talk, watch movies. It doesn't matter. We mix it up. We mishmash. It flips. We smash it around. We mangle it. We cup game it. We flip it around. We've established all the pieces. It doesn't matter. So we show what? We show 4 here, 4 on the next page, 4 on the next page, and then we switch it up. And that expresses days, weeks, months. How long do you want it to express? How long do you want it to express? Because now we've established a loop, okay? So if you do this in your film or your book or whatever, you've got you want to express 5 days go, or 5 years go by. Got a character, they wake up, brush their teeth, walk their dog, go to school, come home, watch a movie, go to bed. Brush teeth, dog, school, movie, bed. Movie, dog, school, bed, school, movie, dog, teeth, brush, dinner, school, movie, whatever. And after a few loops of that, a few times, meets girl on the way home from school. Shocking, a novel experience. How much time passed in between? How much time did you want to pass in between? Minimum is like 3 days, maximum is like 5 years. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, kill nutrition. That's Popeye, but what? I don't know. More Combini stuff, foods and things. Some great faces from them. Like, really uncomfortable scene there. Boring scene there. Fun and laughing and happy there. I don't know what that movie is. It looks like it might be a Jackie Chan movie that she's pointing at. I have no idea what the one that's closer to us is with the characters like this. It's like Priak, Paganini. I don't fucking know what it says. The other one looks like it's a Jackie Chan or something. I don't know. Excitable, sadable, straight through. We chowin', we chillin', we laughin'. Further and closer, more and more comfort, more and more together. And now we've changed. We've just changed. We just met the pretty girl on the way home from school. That's what just happened. We just changed. Everything just changed. How long has passed? Days, weeks, months? No clue. No clue. Can't know. Not allowed to know. At least weeks. At least a couple weeks, right? Because they're doing this every day. And they're in different outfits. Different days. Right. Okay. Interesting. Da da da. Da da da. We're looking at them through the screen, right? As though the screen looks back at you. Bam, bam. And we're framing them together. And now we're framing her through his eyes. The pretty girl has been met. Now he's enamored. I really think so. You actually like cliche stuff, don't you? You cried during the heroine's death scene. What a shallow analysis. I cried because the story resonated with my own life. Also, don't you have this habit of making a low-key peace sign whenever a character scores a win? Maybe? Okay, so he's starting to observe her seriously. And in the way that happens when you really get to know someone you care about. He's beginning to see through her a little bit. Because she's a fucking ghost and she doesn't exist. Stupid. Okay, this is really cute. I'm very scared. Because this isn't gonna go well, right? Right? This isn't gonna go well. Alright. Watching her. Well, you'd say, "Oh yeah," every time there are. Oh, well, you say, "Oh yeah," every time there are nipples on screen. Do not do too. I wouldn't be that crude. Maybe you're saying it unconsciously. I don't. Oh, really? I don't say it. Oh, you say it all right. Do not do too. Do not do too. Oh yeah. See? See what? Nothing. No, really, what? Never mind. That's so cute. Oh, this is even better than I expected. It's a little anecdote to mix up the montages and give us even more closeness to the characters. It's so juicy. I'm terrified. God, why? Oh no. Oh no. This is getting good. It's going places. It can't go places. She doesn't exist. What? Come on, tell me. Forget it. It's nothing. It has to be something, right? What is it? You're freaking me out. Be quiet. Bugging me so much I can't focus on the movie. Shut up already. You should just tell him. You said all right. There were nipples. I think you're ready to plot out your next movie. Again, it's your next movie. It's not our. She doesn't take any ownership. Doesn't fucking exist. Plot it out? What's that? It's deciding the basic outline of the story before you write the screenplay. Oh. Huh. And I'm coming up with this? No duh. Yeah, who else? It would be your movie. Also, oh, so I should have done that before making the movie about my mom? Yeah. Yeah, actually. Oh. Hey, wouldn't it be better for someone else to write it? You could come up with a better story than I could, Eri. You watch more movies than me. It has to be you. Why? I want to watch your movie. Because I'm in love. Ah! And that's the face that we get. What is that? Did you just confess to me? No, you idiot. I'm in love with your movies. Besides, if I made the movie, it wouldn't be a school festival rematch. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Here, I'll give you a potato stick. Now go think up a plot and shut the fuck up and ignore what I just said. Oh no. Wow, what a face. That's so funny. That's so funny. And then the bars of the cage as we turn away. So, what do you think? It's... How can I put this? Average? Come up with something else. Too normal. Boring. Boring. Average. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Bring me something else. Man, brutal. It's brutal. But of course. You know, Fujimoto's a mangaka, right? So, from my experience, most mangaka, Araki in particular, have a pretty interesting understanding of the creative process. Because there are a lot of creative people who are like, yeah, I tried a few times and then I hit it big. It was great. And then there are manga who are like, you need to make a million manga, and they're all going to be bad. And the editor's going to shit on your face every time that you make one that's bad. And you have to get up and keep going. It doesn't matter. Just use the shit and draw with it to make your next manga. It's how you make more. Like, the whole editor schema is great because I think it's amazing. It produces so much cool art and media and stories in a way that's coherent and consistent like no other industry on the planet. Hollywood wishes. Like, Hollywood wishes that it had the sort of content creation funnel design that the Japanese manga anime industry has. Japanese manga anime industry absolutely smashes it every single time. And that's why there are so many adaptations of all the manga and anime, because they're good fucking stories. But like, if Hollywood had if we'd gone a different direction with comics and we'd had a whole established, really strong field of graphic novels getting made into films, getting made into shows, getting made into movies, getting made into stuff, right? And it wasn't just the couple of one-off sort of semi-flops like Watchmen, or the total full adaptations like Batman and all the superhero movies, which aren't the comic books, right? And are unrelated, and comics that we have are not like them. But if graphic novels, for example, had been that in the States, and we'd had that industry really bloom and proliferate and flourish, then we might have the sort of a content funnel, and we might actually have a Hollywood film industry that generates interesting stories, because we'd have a huge funded, competitive, difficult, but funded, possible, admirable industry of comic artists, creators, right? People who write and draw things. And then those are storyboards on their own. And so instead of being storyboard artists who are drawing a bunch of things and then just shipping them to the theaters, or shipping them to the film producers who don't know what a good story is, if it hit them in the back of the head, they just wouldn't know. The better way to find out if the story is good is to give it to the mass market and see if the story's good. If we took all of our Hollywood storyboards and just released them as comics, right, we would actually find out really quickly which movies we should make, because they'd be popular storyboards as comics. Japan has this. They just get this. They've got this whole magic industry that is this and has been this for decades. And so they have a constant flow. And you'll note this if you look at the media that has taken the world by storm continuously. They have a constant flow of media that keeps taking the world by storm continuously. How weird. It's like the DBZ has taken the world by storm, and then the Demon Slayers whoosh, and then the Jujutsu Kaisen like bam, and then the fucking 02 exploded shit, and all these movies are being made and all this stuff. Yeah, man, it's great. It's great. We could do that too if we had the industry and we'd started 30 years ago. Ripperino. But, and you see sort of similar things in different content areas, like Korea with idol groups has been sort of hitting that ground really hard for a long time. Japan with idol groups has been hitting that ground for a really long time. But specifically with like the amount of effort that comes into making a film script, again, because you're trying to condense it and make it concise, starting it off as a storyboard that is actually releasable as a product in and of itself and isn't just a part of the other production funnel, but is instead its own industry, and then building off of that is really primo. It's really primo. But it does make for a lot of mangaka who have suffered, and failed a lot of times because that industry is really, really extraordinarily competitive. So I think maybe Fujimoto is letting that slip in here because this feels like what it might feel like to bring manga to a editor, or maybe storyboards to a film producer. Maybe it's the same no matter where you go or what field you're talking about, but this feels very particularly Japanese manga industry style to me. Yeah, your work is fine and it's readable, but I got this big pile of shit. And yours doesn't go in that one. Yours actually goes in this one, which is the big pile of not quite shit, but not good enough to print. Good job. Good job. Come back in a year. Fuck! Amazing. All right, onward. It's not quite right. I give up. I surrender. I cry uncle. Blah! Yeah, my heart's a slushy mess at this point. I can't even tell what's good or what's not anymore. Well, I can, so stop worrying. Write with confidence. Why are you standing so far away? Why are you moving away from me? What? You know, I always meant to ask, what exactly did you like about my movie? You're the only person in the world who said it was good. So many people call it crappy that I don't even remember what I liked about it anymore. First of all, the part where you run away from the hospital. In your movie, the plot progressed like a touching story. But seriously, asking your middle school-aged son to record his own mother's death, isn't that just cruel? We've gone distant from her. Is she going to treat the movie like it's just a movie? In your movie, the plot progressed like a touching story, but seriously asking your middle-aged school son to record his own mother's death, isn't that just cruel? Right? It did progress that way. And it's why we like skim that. It's so easy to overlook that. But it is the first like truly horrible thing in the manga, is not that he made it a movie. It's page 2 when she asks him. When she broaches the subject that way. But this makes me wonder something. As we step back away from Eri, and then she fades out, because she literally fades out. Look at the darkness. She's literally gone grayscale. Boom, bam. I don't know why. But we step away from her. We fade away from her, distant from her. through a screen, as if detached in many ways. And then she does the same, takes the same biting analysis, same biting analytical mind that she's applied to all the other films, and she's about to apply it to Yuta's soul. I'm not sure how he'll be with that. Let's find out. So when you ran away from the hospital as it exploded, it felt cathartic to me. The next thing that moved me was how beautifully you always shot your mother. If it were me, I'd be really happy having someone capture me that beautifully. Ah. So, she does know then, entirely. Your mother. Also, I like your main character. He's good. Even though your mother is the one in the title, you are the most likable character in the movie. So in your next movie, I don't want to see someone else's story. I want to see your story. And we move up closer to her again as she pierces through and again connects. Whoa. Always with the food. How many points do I get? Really disconnected from the father, I think. That's how I feel, at least. I don't know. It's the first time we've seen him in forever. But it gives me this impression as we go click, click, that it's weird for him to broach any sort of subject with the dad at all. Dad, when you think of me, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I'd say you're all about movies? Movies, I guess. And when you think about my movies, what comes to mind? Explosions? Yeah, maybe explosions. Ever since you were little, you've always sprinkled a pinch of fantasy into everything. A pinch of fantasy? That's right. Like when you drew me in kindergarten, you gave me a dragon's face. That time we took a family trip to the zoo, you were talking to the giraffe the entire time. Oh, hey, now that I think about it, how come you're recording right now? Huh. I don't know what that film is. But he's not watching it, he's watching her. So the protagonist's mom buys him a smartphone. Then she tells him, I'm sick and I'm going to die. So film me until my dying breath. Then, partway through the movie, wait, isn't that the same story as your last movie? There's more. The protagonist couldn't bring himself to film his mother's death. Then he makes a crappy movie and gets ragged on big time for it. So, our wounded protagonist decides to jump to his death from the hospital roof. Then, when he gets up to the roof... Okay, wait a sec, what? We're blurring the lines between fact and fiction, or is he just unable to actually fantasize here or sprinkle fiction into his film at all and is instead just locked into telling the story as it actually happened? Like, just to cope. Just needs to actually get through it and express what actually occurred in order to figure it out. Or did everything that we saw with all of that, was that all actually a film? And we're about to get number 2, Roundo 2-0, this was all a film version. Fuck. What? So, our wounded wait, he's wounded? Decides to jump to his death from the hospital roof. Then, when he gets up to the roof, enter Vampire Girl. What? The protagonist gets abducted and taken into this building. Just when he thinks she's going to drink his blood, she makes him watch a bunch of movies. And then the vampire orders the protagonist to make a movie? Right. After that, the two of them watch tons of movies, come up with a plot, and I haven't come up with the rest yet. I'm up with it right now. Yeah, it's literally right now, so... And then he gives this pitch to her. And then in the middle of this pitch to her, he says, enter Vampire Girl. And then she says, come up with it right now. And he says, this is the plot. And then his brain explodes because you're not allowed to do that. And he's writing his own script to his own story. And he realizes that he's actually doing that in reality anyway. And you actually are writing the script to your own story with every action that you take. And it's only the spoken ones or the written down ones that we think of as scripts or stories, but those are a part of your story too. And in reality, anything that you do is writing you down in history forever to some extent. Or she doesn't exist. the protagonist's problem probably isn't the... Wait, whoa. What? Problem probably... Oh, dude, he's just going through therapy here. This is just all right. Now explain to me how the story will go from here. Yes, and what would... Oh, man. Fuck. Probably isn't the fact that his film got made fun of. Maybe it's that he didn't record his mother's death? That's it. The truth is, the protagonist regrets running away. Wow! You figured it out! Oh my god. Oh, this is pretty... This is very funny. This is very funny and very realistic. I have this happen to me all the time. I had this happen to me all the fucking time. When you've got friends who aren't super self-aware, sometimes they will come up to you and say the most, like, jaw-droppingly obvious things about themselves that are true, but so jaw-droppingly obvious that it's like, no shit, man. What the fuck? What? They'll say something like, I think I get angry all the time because my mom got angry all the time at me. It's like, what? I'm sure that actual therapists go through this continuously, is people just having the most obvious, straightforward problem, be like, I guess I don't know what to do about this. Fuck. So that's what we're experiencing right now, that's what I'm experiencing right now, is that exact feeling. And that's what I feel like Eri's experiencing right now, is that exact feeling. And she's like been leading him along to this. So Yuta under this whole time has been under the impression that his primary problem was that his film got laughed at. That's where the bad things in the world started, right? The bad things in the world didn't start when your mom died, or when she asked you to film it, or when you couldn't film it. Eri did sort of gently hint at this pretty solidly a little bit ago. Like, it was pretty messed up for the mom to ask that, honestly. Maybe that's not where the problem started. Maybe I should go back into the last discussion and find the part where he like starts running away from this and be like, well, he's disconnected now and you got to go back in there. You have to go in. You can't get this one back. Like, if you run away now, you never, ever, ever can get that back. Bada bing, bada boom. Because that's exactly it. That's where our problems really started. He could have closure. He could have catharsis. He could have explosions, right? He could have closure. And he'd probably be okay. Humans are resilient, man. As long as we can take our trauma to its endpoint, we can put it away. In most cases. Like, there are healthy, psychologically happy people who have been through shit you can't even fathom. Can't even come close, who have significant chunks of their body and face missing physically from damage, accidents, abuse, torture, like things you cannot even come close to fathoming, and they're capable of living on their lives, in most cases because they've been able to reckon with it. But if you don't reckon with it, man, if you leave it ionic, if you leave it out of balance inside you, it's gonna spin you out forever. Fuck, it's so true. It's so true. It's like, in every way that this is applicable to my own life, every piece of trauma that I haven't found a way to take to its endpoint and resolve, it needles me. And every one that I have is comfort and strength and resilience and like actual strength, where it's like, I've overcome that and I'm better for it and it's good, even if they're terrible things. So that's a fucking takeaway. I know it's the most obvious thing here, and it is. He regrets running away. Always you will. Always you will. It's always the running away ones that you'll regret. You run straight into the fire and get burned to shit, you're probably not actually going to regret it because you had a reason to do it. Seriously. Whatever the reason was, if you had a reason to run through the fire, you're not going to care about the burns. Doesn't matter what the reason was if you chose it. But if you run away, you're never gonna know. You're never gonna know. And you're never gonna Targaryen figure it the fuck out and realize that you're not gonna get burned anyway. That's the fucking magic, man. The cell regenerates. You have the power to heal yourself, thanks Gojira. It's the way we work. It's the way we work. You don't actually burn if you choose to go into the fire. And I mean that metaphorically. Please don't faceplant into lava. It's not worth it. But if you choose your pain and you go into it, you won't get hurt as much, mostly. He says, but I have an extraordinarily large, very purple contusion on my leg from riding my unicycle and falling very badly on it. So you'll get hurt, but you'll survive. Oh, man. It's so... that's what it is. Probably. The protagonist's problem probably isn't the fact that his film got made fun of. Maybe it's the fact that he didn't record his mother's death. That's it. The truth is, the protagonist regrets running away. And then, yeah, the vampire actually doesn't have long to live. She's lived for 1,000 years, but she's about to die from an illness or something. Despite living for 1,000 years, she's afraid of being forgotten, so the vampire wants the protagonist to shoot a movie for her to be in it. Did he actually just accidentally nail the truth and she's actually a creepy vampire lady? That'd be stupid as shit. That'd be dumb as fuck. I don't get the points. I don't get the points if that's true. Damn it. I should have just said she's undead. If I just said she's undead, I would have gotten all the points. Fuck. Oh, I don't think I get the points. Okay. No expression from Eri, no response, no clue. As they shoot the movie, the protagonist and the vampire fall in love. Tell me what you want without telling me what you want, Yuta. But the vampire is growing weaker and weaker. Finally, the protagonist films the vampire's death, and their love story is over. And that's the other part that I've been waiting for. And I did say this in the previous episode. Yuta needs to relive. That's what it is. The only way that Yuta could possibly get over his trauma, his reluctance to go and film, his running away from the fire, his running away from his mother's death, is to find a similar fire and run right toward it. That is, to meet a character who is dying and experience her death and take the whole thing in stride the way that he should. Which, psychologically, is exactly right. If you run away from the pain the once, you're going to have to go back to it. And it's going to be worse. That's the whole sentence. That's the whole sentence. If you run away from your pain, you will have to go back to it, whether you want to or not, and it will be worse. Even if you choose to want to the next time. If you don't actively turn back to the pain, it'll come back to you over and over, and you won't have any choice in the matter. But even if you do choose to go back to it, it'll hurt more the second time. Fuck! Shit! Fuck! God! Fuck! Having filmed a death, the thing he couldn't do for his mother, the protagonist regains the will to live and the confidence to make movies. The end. Okay, this is what I thought it was gonna be, too. This might actually be exactly what it'll be. I don't know if she's a vampire who's dying or whatever. She might just be terminally ill. That would be easy. Oh, fuck, man. Oh, shit. Oh, fuckity, 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 fuck. Yeah, follow it through. Experience it again, feel it once more, and she's again still said nothing. Sounds like it could be good, right? It's semi-autobiographical, so if I use myself as the protagonist, I think the meta aspect will go over well with the students who saw my movie last year. Plus, the videos of my mom and the scenes of people trashing me, talking me are all real, so I can use unscripted, unacted lines. Oh. If you're recycling old footage, I assume I'm playing the vampire. Gah! You know it! All that's left is to write down the plot in a little more detail, and I bet you could whip up a screenplay in no time. Sounds good! Oh, right. Before I write the screenplay, will you meet my dad? Sure. When I told him we were shooting a movie, he said he wanted to meet you. My dad's a chatterbox. He's gonna talk your ear off. What? Your dad's a chatterbox? That's not the perspective. That's not the impression I got at all. But okay, cool. Well, this is all very cool and calm and nice. Oh, and we are here at dinner. Nom nom. Eat, eat, eat. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Nom nom. Yup. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Look. I'm sorry to ruin this nice meal, but as Yuta's father, there's something I need to get off my chest. Uh-oh. Eri, I want you to stop pushing Yuta to make this movie. Dad, what are you saying? Let him talk. Yeah, let him talk. Actually, he hasn't expressed anything at all about the whole thing either, including the movie that you made at school, which he probably doesn't have any perspective on. Fuck. I saw how much Yuta was hurt by his mother's passing. I saw how much it hurt him when he made that movie to vent his feelings too. So, okay. Pops is going to take a perspective of, this is just going to cause more pain. There's no need to face this. Come on. It's just the pain that's there. We just experience the pain that's there, and we go on experiencing the pain that's there. There's no hope for a better future. There's only hope for maintaining the present exactly as it is. Please stop trying to fuck everything up. You're trying to shake things up, and you're just going to fuck it up, and it's going to make it worse. Right? I think that's actually the perspective he's going to hit. And it's a reasonable one. It's wrong. It's always wrong. Like, always wrong. It's fearful, it's fear masquerading as conservative safety. I don't mean politically conservative. Conservatism. Restrained. Don't do anything stupid. Don't risk it. Wrong. Wrong, because we're in a present existence of misery. This is the part that people usually get wrong when they address their life and their world from a fearful perspective is, well, but I have so much to lose. And usually you don't. Usually you don't. Usually what you have to lose is a fearful, shitty life full of misery, where you're slowly dying. So, lose it. Seriously. Lose it all. Find you. Okay. My son's been happier since meeting you, and for that, I can't thank you enough. But even so, if making this new movie hurts him again, this time it might damage beyond repair his ability to move forward. I once aimed to be a creator myself, so I know how it goes! Well, that's where our problem is, isn't it? 'Cause you gave the fuck up, buddy. Didn't you? When you create a work that you're confident in, and others take your creation and mock it and treat it like a plaything, it messes you up. Yeah? Yeah? And? See, I don't think so. I think this is actually wrong. I think it's directly wrong. When you walk away after that has occurred, it messes you up. When people take your work that you've created and put all your shit into and they treat it like a plaything, that hurts you. But it doesn't mess you up. It doesn't mess you up. Walking away, though, not coming back and trying again, not giving it another shot, not iterating, that's gonna mess you up, man. It's gonna mess you up. You're going against your core biology. Your core biology is consume and adapt. Kazakhs. Why is that in my brain? Your core biology is overcome. Hormesis. Experience damage. Grow. Grow resilient in order to prevent future damage. It's actually how every cell in your body works. It's how your whole body works. It's how your whole neurology works. We've discovered relatively recently that it's actually how your whole brain works. We used to think that it didn't, and you weren't able to regenerate or grow new brain cells and stuff. It's not true. You're able to rewire that shit all the time. But if you train yourself to not... You know what would be a really good principle for you as a human being going forward? Every time I hit an obstacle, I'm going to curl up and run away. How far is that going to take you? It'll take you right up to the first obstacle. And then to hell. And then to the darkness of the pit. Because once you curl up and you run away, you can only see the darkness. And you can't go up. So you're fucked. You're fucked. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage trash dad. Trash parenting. Bad. Bad. This is also taking your own limitations and placing them upon your child, which a lot of parents do. For sure. 100%. I tried to XYZ and I failed, so you definitely shouldn't, because I'm trying to protect you, kiddo. You're not your kid. You're not your kid. Let them make their own damn failures. In fact, encourage them to fail. This is the opposite of the correct perspective. Okay, so let's step back and let's say, what do you think a an archetypal good father would do in this situation. Not damaged, has it all together, has figured all his shit out. Good father does in this situation. His son is in a tough circumstance. Now, first off, his father would be more engaged with him all the time. A good father would be more engaged with him all the time. It's evident, obvious, that this parent has not been solidly engaged with his son since the passing of the mother, which is really, really hard. And, like, can't blame him, obviously. But an archetypal good father, really engaged with the son all the time, make sure he's there continuously. And then, when he brings up this excited idea of making another movie, step back and allow. Start putting things into place. Start making sure that you're, like, aware of exactly what's happening. Make sure that the kid knows he can come and talk to you, etc., etc. But step back and observe. Because this is a really interesting development. Whatever you think about what's going on, a huge development in the life of a person who's in a wibbly state, and suddenly they change dramatically, that's not the sort of thing that you come in hard and like, no more of that. It's like, whoa, hold on. Change good. We're in the middle of suffering hell, as previously indicated. You've got your little life full of suffering and hell, and it's shitty. Any change might be great. There's not very far down to go. So any change in any, most of it might be sideways, great. Any change might give a chance for upwards, so step back and let it happen. But this is personal, right? It's all these layers of vicariousness, of living through the kid, of wanting him to have this perfect success without ever experiencing hardship. That's not reality. And you are actually setting up the child for endless and inevitable, horrifying, suffering failures. Because they're not going to figure their shit out. For 20 years more. Fuck. Oh, this is so wrong. Oh, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. You don't teach a child that the world outside is scary. You don't teach a child that everything will hurt them. You don't teach a child that the mockery of the world is something to run away from. You don't teach a child to turn away from hardship. You don't teach a child to run away from difficulty or to let the mockery of others consume and destroy them, or to let themselves, hey kid, your dreams, they're worth a lot, but if anybody tells you that they're stupid, listen. Just listen to them and ignore your dreams. Like, what the fuck? Ah! Yeah! What the fuck? Your dreams are only worthwhile if you never hit a rock? But Dad, I chose to... Yuta, you be quiet! Wow. Amazing. Eri, get out of this house. I don't want you coming near Yuta again. Do you hear me? I promised my late wife that I'd protect this family. You leave our family alone. I'm begging you, just leave us be. Of course he feels this way. Oh, A to B to C to D. There we go. We're right back to it. Outside, this makes no sense. Inside, from the father's perspective, every step of this makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, wow. What's she gonna say or do here? Nothing. That's the right answer, girl. That's the right answer. I have got two answers that I think are the right answer here. One of them is just to sit there and stare. The other is to sit there and stare for a little while. And then very seriously, with absolutely no humor or bullshit, just look them in the eye and say, "Are you okay?" Because that's actually the appropriate response to somebody having a temper tantrum, or freaking the fuck out, or doing something deeply irrational or highly emotional, is like, I'm concerned about you. Are you okay? But here Eri just sits, absolutely still. Ha! I didn't see it. Okay. I didn't see it. Do you see it? You see it, right? Eyes are closed, eyes are closed, one eye's open, eyes are closed. So it's all performative, right? It's such a little kid pout. And cut. No, fuck you. Oh, God. Oh, my fucking God. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No, nothing is real. No. Well, my acting wasn't too stiff? No, it was too stiff. That's the problem. That's what made it fucking believable. Ah. It was shitty. It was exactly the sort of shitty garbage that an awkward situation and an awkward conversation would cause. For fucking hell. Phew. Oh, no, sir. You were very good. Glad to hear it. I did some theater with my friends after college. I up and quit when I didn't succeed right away, though. Oh, so that's actually drawing on reality. A little bit of method there. Oh, my God. For really, though, Eri, thank you for spending so much time with Yuta. I mean it. Oh, not at all. I'm glad to. It's a lot of work to film a movie, isn't it? How much have you shot? We have about 1/3 left to shoot. Really? Isn't that something? So, this sounds like the scene that we just did, but are you sure you're okay with letting Yuta shoot this movie? Cover. Huh? If he makes a bad movie, it really will get mocked and treated like a plaything. Me and Yuta and you too. Won't we all get hurt? Well, yeah, man, all the fuzziness. The turn of the camera is so fucking cool. Ah! This is weird! This comes from a friend of mine, but creation is all about getting into the audience's problems to make them laugh and cry, right? Well, it wouldn't be fair if creators didn't get hurt too, would it? Ooh, two-way street. I'd say something else too. I think you have to delve into your own pain in order to express it effectively. The same with, like, joy and literally anything else. If you didn't have a range of emotions, how could you ever express them, right? And that means real vulnerability in your thing. And I think you can really tell the difference when there's a piece of work or art or story that has real vulnerability in it versus one that doesn't. In many ways, that's like that's the core, isn't it? There are, plenty of kind of dime a dozen manga and anime out there that are clearly not, that don't have any authorial vulnerability in them. And then there are shows and manga that you'd think wouldn't, but they really, really do. They're like truth from the heart sort of stuff. Especially to me, when there's this like precious spirit of heartfelt optimism in the core of the show. I always get this feeling like the mangaka has this little seed, this little flaming, burning thing inside them that they're, God, you gotta really nurture that motherfucker. I know I've got one, and I know that I have to nurture the fuck out of it, and I have to protect it. I've got to be careful. But to make a story that really connects with other people, that really ignites them, you have to pass the fire on. To do that, you gotta open up, and you gotta put that fire into the story itself. The real seed of optimism, of belief in yourself, of belief in the world, that kind of thing. That's a dangerous thing to say or reveal. We live in such a dark, brutal, suffering-filled, pessimistic world that to reach out to the world and say, I think maybe I can do it, is, oh God, beyond terrifying. It's like putting a little candle in a hurricane. Because reality is like a hurricane, and if the candle goes out, you die. So it's you holding up a candle in a hurricane to light the way for other people, but if the candle goes out, you die and they don't find their way. Right? That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. When it comes to the burning flame of the human spirit and expressing it through art, you can hold your candle close, and it'll stay nice and protected. Maybe. But nobody else will see it, and they'll all crash on the fucking rocks. So if you want to hold it up, you gotta reveal it to the wind. It wouldn't be fair if creators didn't get hurt too, would it? Really good. Fuck you. We just bent it again. Because, okay, so the establishment of this scene establishes for us that this scene is happening in reality. Like, reality, man. This is real. We cut. So this is real. This is after the take. Everybody's relaxed. He wiped his face off. It's not a joke. It's not a film anymore, right? And then he says all these things, and we're like, oh, wow. He said all these things out of context, without the camera rolling, with the feeling like they're real. And then he goes, yeah, fine? Good? And it was all on camera anyway. It was all for the thing anyway. It was all fake anyway. Fuck. That was a good line, right? We should shoot another take of that. Yes, absolutely. We whoosh away. We're out on the sands. And this is actually a stopping point. Eri, if you're a vampire, how can you be out in the sunlight? A little bit doesn't hurt. I spend most of my time inside watching movies. Okay, then do garlic and crosses not affect you? I hate garlic. I hate scallions and onions too. How old are you? Your real age. I'm about 1,200 years old. Over your life, have you gone through any struggles? Makes me sad that everyone I know will die before me. Humans die in a scant 100 years. That's why I envied you. Huh? If you watch your movie, you get to see your mother again, don't you? Isn't that an incredibly beautiful thing? You're the only one who praises me, Eri. You always watch movies with me. You're even acting in my movie for free. I wish I could thank you somehow. Then let me drink your blood. And that's the same reaching out as before. And he reaches out, and she falls. Into the water. And we're in the hospital. The same hospital. I came to visit. Huh? Are you recording? I sent you a get well video. Really? What is it? I never got to record my mom going to the bathroom. So, just to be safe, I'm recording this video be booping for posterity. Ew. Ew. Have you ever watched a video of someone pooping before? Of course not. That's gross. I have lots of even nastier videos. I'll show them to you once you're better. Don't get better. Huh? You don't get better. It's that kind of illness. I knew, I thought I had more time. This isn't about the movie, is it? Why didn't you say anything? Okay, so she actually is deeply ill, and this is probably why she was at the hospital, and she's probably not a vampire, and she probably is really a person. And pretty much all of her behavior can be described or explained in the terms of, like, a person who is terminally ill. That does make sense. And does explain why she'd be at the hospital. Okay, I don't know if I buy it. We're in Wibbly space now. Like, everything's a lie. I don't believe anything. I have trust issues at this point. I have been instilled with deep-seated trust issues, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of the read. I also think we're probably going to just finish it today. We'll see. When I saw your movie, the truth is I related to your mom. I get wanting someone to film your death. In a movie, you could keep living. I envied her for that. But then it's selfish, isn't it? In a movie, you could keep living, but who had to film it? And for them, when they open it back up, you're not alive. You're a reminder of death. I don't know. It depends on your relationship to the medium. And we got some of this in the discussions in the comments around my story that I gave about the waterfall. People agreed and some disagreed. Sometimes you can capture a thing and experience its essence, and sometimes you can't, but I don't know. It sure is interesting, though. It sure is interesting. I have a request. I want you to film me until the moment of my death, just like in the plot you came up with. Will you? I want to note something else here. We're on page 116. I'm going to go way back. Just before we turn the page and see what he says in response, if anything. Can you do that for me? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so he does respond. Oh, no. Oh, no. What the hell? How can you... I mean, how can you ask me to do that? Who would want to do that? Oh, and he runs away. I mean, awful, but honestly better to answer that way, right? Better if he had answered that way to his mother. Maybe? Oh, there's no wind there. There's no wind there. Fuck. Run, 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 run. Camera, 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 camera. Past people, past randoms. Past cat. Up, up. I heard about Eri. Aren't you going to school? Just leave me alone. Hey! Yuta. What? Get out of my room already! Your mom's final moments. I recorded them. Do you want to see? That's salvation, man. That's salvation, man. Okay. You can never go and brave that room yourself ever again. And it's really, 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 really bad that you ran away. And it's probably wrong that he recorded them, but I understand why he did, the father here. Yuta should watch this. I don't think he can. I don't think he will. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. That's the one fucking thing that could happen, though. If she dies calling for Yuta, that's pretty bad, isn't it? If she dies calling for Yuta, that's pretty fucking bad. Oh boy. Okay. 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 I'm not ready. I'm never gonna be ready. You just go. Yuta won't come out of the car. So since it's your wish, I'll be recording. Why isn't Yuta here? Why? Yuta... He doesn't want his mom to die, so he couldn't make it this far. Okay. 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 Okay, right. That boy was useless till the very end. That was not performative. That was an actual gag. My stomach feels very uncomfortable. Oh my god! So, all of the editing that he did, and when she praised his framing of his mother, all of the editing that he did, was centered around a multi-layered abuse situation and his need to cope with it. Nobody ever talks about this. Nobody ever talks about this. How are you supposed to feel when someone you hate and love dies? You know, like a continuous abuser who's also your mother who you care about. And you're broken and twisted in a dozen ways before you even find out that she's terminally ill. And you come out of that. And so he produces that film. Scrubbed of all of this. Scrubbed clean of all of this. Filled only with the joy and the good things. Oh man, that's what it is all the way through though, isn't it? It's really wrong to look at the world as though it's only the good things. This is gross though. This is really gross. This is really gross. If we're not bait and switching here and this is real and this is the actual circumstance, this is really gross and it's the most fucked up twist that I've seen in a while. That's really cool. Oh, the father's whole perspective, I understand now a little bit better. Again, if this is real, the moment when she asks him the request to film and the way that it feels like he has no option except to say yes, or the way that the father like looks up at her and then looks down, doesn't say anything about it, I took that as like him not wanting to tread on his dying wife's last wish, but it's actually an abused, beaten man. It's actually an abused, beaten man who thinks that this is a really dark and bad idea, not being able to say anything. Fuck me. Fuck me. Yuta, hurry up and record. What are you waiting for? Don't you realize I could die? I'd look ugly in a shot frame like that. Can't you see that? Do you want everyone to laugh at how ugly I am? There's no point in filming cats. Delete that. Are you stupid? Why won't you film as I told you to? Remember, the money for that smartphone came out of my pocket. You remember your mother was a TV producer, right? Oh. You remember, your mother was a TV producer, right? She'd planned to make a TV documentary about her brave battle against illness after she recovered. Since I was at work during the day, she had you shoot the videos. Oh. Son, Oh, it's even worse than that. This is bad enough on its own. I thought she was just abusive and desperate to have this video done of her. It's even more than that. It's not for any sentimental reason, either hers or his. Because even if it was, at least it would be for a sentimental reason. No, it's for a financial reason. It's to make business and money. This is dark. She is a hard abuser. Son, I knew it was horrible what she was doing to you, but I pretended not to see it. I ran away. I acted like everything was okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's why when I watched your movie, I was shocked. In your movie, your mom she was a good mom. You'd only see the beautiful things about her. When Mom was in a bad mood, she'd give me the silent treatment, and she never praised me for anything, but I wanted my memories of her to be beautiful. Yuta, you have the power to decide for yourself how you'll remember someone. That's an incredible thing. I think maybe Eri wants you to choose how she'll be remembered. Dude, no. No. Whoa. Okay. Cute, sweet, sentimental, lovely, really lovely, beautiful, sweet, sentimental, very cute. Wrong, incorrect. You need to grapple with your mother as an abuser, dog. Being able to choose to remember her as pleasant and good doesn't make it so, and it doesn't heal the deep and lasting trauma. It's an incredible thing, but, like, having recognized it, you need to face the truth, too. Oh, this is so fucked. I think maybe Eri wants you to choose how she'll be remembered. So he's going through and looking through the footage of her. Yeah. So he comes back and sits down with her. I heard you got discharged for now. Uh-huh. Can I film your every move from this point on? Thanks. That's all we needed to say. By the way, what's the deal with this video? It's a video of me crapping in a field. Did it there? Come on, man. Come on, man. No. No. You can't even use the bullshit like, oh, dude, I'm just overcoming my trauma. No. No pooping in fields. Hey, and we're going every move, huh? Well, she's gonna fucking die. Ding dong dick whiffles. She's gonna fucking die. We're doing fast montage again. We've split it to 2 frames a panel. Right? We're really visualizing Eri and everything, and it's all focused on her, and she's gonna fucking die. Super cute. They got a hotel? Are they gonna bang? I mean, it's a legitimate hi. Okay. Legitimate question. Bah. Oh, well. What a fucking face. Peace signs, peace signs, peace signs. Movies, wheelchairs. IV bags. Drip. Drip. Hey, are you going to use the travel scenes in the movie? Yeah. What about the scene where I fell into the water? Should I? Yeah. Oh, the scene with her falling in? Remind me, did we shoot any kissing scenes? We did. Can I put them in? I don't know. Should we shoot one more just to be safe? Oh, it's so cute and romantic. Okay. Yuta, why did you make my character a vampire? Because you're actually not real. No. I guess I wanted to sprinkle in a pinch of fantasy. Plus, the first time we met, you dragged me to an abandoned building. Doesn't that sound like something a vampire would do? It does. I thought, even if she sucks me dry and kills me, if it means I'd become sustenance for someone this beautiful, I'm okay with that. Literally what I said in response to the suicide thing. Sorry, let me explain. My response to the suicide thing was, at least take your life and go do something useful with it, which in this case is give it to a sexy vampire lady. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, so, this was written not that long ago. He knows Monogatari, and also he knows, Poon Poon. Fair? I think it's a reasonable estimation to say that Tatsuki Fujimoto has read the Monogatari series. At least enough of it to understand the core dynamic vampire-wise. I mean, really. And, Poon Poon. Because Inio Asano's work is, like, all through this. Right? Right. Like, all through it. All through it. I don't think... it feels... This could be a response to Poon Poon. The title framing is the same. I'm certain of it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm still certain of it. Ah. But that's a worthwhile goal. It's actually really resonant for a lot of dudes. I don't get it. It doesn't vibe with me. But a lot of dudes do vibe with this. It's like, the world is pointless. But if I could sustain a pretty girl, that would be good enough. All right, cool. It works for a lot of people. Works really well. Thanks. I wish I could have watched your movie. You can watch some of it. I've been editing it as we go. I wanted to watch the finished product. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of unspoken between those yeahs. Right? I wanted to watch the finished product. Well, nothing I can do about that. You're gonna die too fast. Ripperino. Yep, Ripperino. Yep. Fuck. Harry, what kind of movie do you want it to be? Like what I've told you from the beginning. What was that again? A movie that will make them all bawl their eyes out. Oh, it looks like mission accomplished. So far, so good. Oh, we pan the camera. Yeah, we pan the camera down to a peace sign. Hell yeah. Yuta? Yes? What are you recording? A cat? Listen, didn't Eri wear glasses? I filmed her without them at her request. What about her dental retainer? That also came off at her request. So you just mindlessly obeyed your girlfriend? We were only a couple in the movie. I never dated Eri. I did ask her out, but she rejected me. You'd never know it from that movie. But Eri had a temper. She was self-absorbed. Wasn't she actually a pretty big bitch? Yep. She said that's why you and I were her only friends. Movie Eri was a little over-idealized. Yep. But I'll always remember her like that. Thanks. Is this the same girl who was like, I'll never forgive you for that? Actually, wait. Is this the same girl who was like, my friend is dying, and so then you're a dick? My mom died last year, too. That's why I can't forgive you. Why'd you add the explosion at the end? Okay. I mean, whatever, dude. But yeah, I'll always remember her like that. Thanks. You're welcome. Good. Well, that's the mom frame. When she was away and we're in the zippity zoom zone when we're all darkness now. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay. Here at page 162, we have concluded our whole story, and we've got 38 pages left. The story's done. We just concluded it. Now we table flip? So, I see two options. One is we bring it home, and it goes from there, as in like an expected way. That is, Eri was a real girl. He made a real movie. That conversation with that person really just happened. All this is fine. Yippee-ki-yay. Move on from there, and like life continues. We go to the grave. We go date somebody else. Go to college. Quick montage, whatever, right? Or aliens. Voodoo magic. Ancient medieval swordsman ride in. The Monty Python ending where like everybody rides in through a Hollywood set. I don't fucking know. I don't know. So, either reasonable continuation of the story or 38 pages to table flip. Let's see what you got for us, Fujimoto. The black boxes, full fade to black, makes me think table flip. Oh, God. Not 2 sets of black boxes. Come on, Fujimoto. How much are you going to drag this out? No, not 3 sets of... No! 3 sets of black boxes. Now I'm scared. Is it going to be 4? Is it going to be 4? Ugh! Having filmed to death, the thing he couldn't do for his mother, the protagonist regains the will to live and the confidence to make movies. The end. So simple. Okay, right. We're table flipping right now, right? That was my character in the movie. In the real world. Oh, whoa, okay. So we're, hold on. You're probably wondering how I got here, Ing? That's what we're doing. Okay. That was my character in the movie. In the real world, it didn't work out so smoothly for me. After the school festival, I started holing up in my room instead of going to school. I'd spend all day at my computer recutting Eri's movie. Even though the movie had been well received, I couldn't shake this nagging feeling that it was missing something. My hunch was that I would find the answer in the 2,728 hours of footage from my time with Eri. Right, she's actually a vampire, and you'll find her teeth, and she's actually in that building, or she just doesn't exist, or fucking, I don't know. I continued the recuts even after I started college. I'd take classes, go to my part-time job, and when I got home, I'd end the day tinkering with my Eri videos. Okay, that's like the beginning to a horror movie now. I dropped out of college and got a full-time job. There, I met the woman I would marry. We had a daughter together. Even after that, I cut and recut Eri's movie countless times. A movie I wasn't even going to show anyone. It's not that I was unhappy with my family. If those days had lasted until I died a suitable death, I think I'd have led a happy life. However, they're about to change. That day. Oh, God, fuck! God! I only needed to read the first line. That day, my wife, my daughter, and father, and myself were all in the car. I was driving. In an instant, everything went dark, like turning a TV off. The next thing I saw was the ceiling of a hospital room. It was explained to me that there had been an accident in front of us, and our vehicle had been caught in it. So not your fault, directly. It's worse! And that I was the only member of my family who'd survived. I couldn't process it. It felt like I was watching a shockingly tragic scene in a movie. Explosions! Dead family explosion mom! Yay! What are we doing here? Fujimoto! Thinking back, it was always like that. I have this bad habit of viewing the problems right in front of me from an outside perspective. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. It's in frame 1. My mother's death, Eri's, watched them both through a camera. It was the same back in high school when I was considering suicide, just like now. Not surprised. No, not surprised. Not surprised, and I'm not going to make bones about it this time. And not because I'm afraid of criticism. This is a very different circumstance, friends. Right? Right? Yeah, okay. Oh, shit. He's gonna go back to where he met Eri, though. Right? She's gonna be there? She's gonna fucking be there because she's a vampire? That's stupid. That's stupid. Fuck you. No. 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 Because then that just leaves us in total chaos, clusterfuck, unresolved hell. Oh, God. This has to have some kind of cathartic... No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. He can be an asshole if he wants to. Shit. I could only face the facts from behind the camera. As a result, I've realized I no longer have enough soul left to endure any more deaths. I'll die in a place that holds memories for me. The end. So he's gonna go back. I no longer have enough soul left to endure any more deaths. Oh, what a brutal thing to say. And so back here we are, and deep into the abandoned building we stride. Darkness, darkness. In an old room where he sat watching movies for so long. If he opens the door and Eri's sitting there watching movies, I don't know what the fuck to think. It's all as expected. Darkness, a projector, a couch. A bag with a rope. This world is filled with death. Huh? Memento Mori. This is Yuta signing off. Goodbye. His own movie is playing. As she's watching it? You're a lot older than you were back then. Nani? Hey! Ah! Okay, I see. Oh, right. This is a dream. No, wait. This is... No, or I've gone hallucinating. Like in the movie, Permanent Nobara. No, if I... And he's relating all of reality to the movies that he's seen. If I had to choose, it's more like The Brown Bunny, or The Sixth Sense, except in that one, nice, thanks for the spoiler. Except in that one, the protagonist is dead all along. Am I dead? Huh? This movie's on the right track, but it's not quite there. Huh? Sure, huh? What? Films that end with a love interest's death are a dime a dozen. I think the second half could use a leap. It's missing a pinch of fantasy, don't you think? Like a vampire who survives forever. You're talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. It does have fantasy. I made you a vampire. Which had literally no effect on her character because she could still go outside, didn't like garlic, but didn't die, and also could die! The main part of being a vampire is that you don't fucking die, right? Right, so you made her a vampire minus the fantasy part. That isn't fantasy, right? I really am a vampire. The proof's right here. I'm still young, aren't I? But you died. I filmed your death. Yep, I died. But only up here. Did you know the brain has limited storage space, just like a hard drive? After 200 years of life, a human's brain would fill to bursting and kill them. Like the Eri in this movie. But the real me is a vampire, not a human. As long as my heart's intact, I'll never die. I revived 3 days later with all my memories gone. Hi, Editing T. I've just got 2 interesting things here, and I hope they're not spoilers, but they're weird. I don't think you can spoil this. I actually don't think it's physically possible, but these are weird. There's nobody in the sofa when he walks in, and it is shown to us distinctly. The second cool thing is that when she's talking about her brain being all emptied out because she's a new version, the bookshelves on her are empty, which is pretty cool. That's why you made him make the movie? I buy it. I'm in. Yeah, no, I full belief. I'm in. The last Eri left me a letter with instructions on how I should live. Oh! Where is that? What is that? A letter with instructions on how I should live? Remembered and memorized? What is that? Rebuilt versions? Brennan Lee Mulligan. Parrot, Phoenix Lady, Fantasy High Dimension 20. I nailed it. Okay, hold on. No, this is actually amazing, stunning. It's actually that. Bird Girl Dimension 20. No, not Lady Chirp Featherfowl. Fuck. Not Skrank either. Fuck. Phoenix. Ida Eggfort. I will hit you with her story in a second. Nope, I won't hit you with her story in a second. Character in a D&D show that I love who is a half phoenix, who is about 300 years old, and who has had many reincarnations, and each one leaves a note to herself that contains all the details of her life. She's also deeply autistic and, like, has no idea how to deal with the world otherwise, and so basically only lives off of the notes. Great character. Holy shit, this is that. Same thing. Oh, that's so cool. I buy it. I buy it. I'm not going to not believe it. I mean, I disbelieve it. It's story, it's narrative, it's fiction, it's whatever, but it doesn't matter. The last Eri left me a letter with instructions on how I should live. Apparently, I've lost my memories and started life over again from the beginning like that dozens of times now. It sounds like a story out of a movie. Exactly. This time, I had more than just a letter. This movie was left with it. The movie showed me what kind of person the last me was. Will you be able to cope with this? Everybody you love will die before you do. Your parents, sweethearts, friends, you'll watch them all die. Alright, so right here we're about to hit the crux of it, right? Because at his core, Yuta has always been deeply damaged by the loss of other people. Right? At his very core being, every piece of this character that we've seen has been someone where people dying is always really bad for him. And what if it were not so? Like, what if that's fundamentally the misperspective? Just wrong. Like, maybe it'll sadden her, but it's just not the right perspective at all. Why would it sadden me? I get to meet them. I get to live so many lives. I get to see so many people. Even if I don't even remember. There are so many things that she could say here. But what a crux of the issue it is. How well we've just gone back to the same core issue that was there in page 20 or whatever. And now we've brought it to a conclusion. I think the last Eri must have been in despair, yes. But I'll be fine, because I have this movie. I'll get to see you every time I watch it. No matter how many times I forget you, I'll remember you again and again. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I don't like people talking during movies, so if you aren't going to sit down, could you see yourself out? Yeah, I will. And there's our title, huh? Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. He walks away. I never saw her again after that. See, I'd finally figured it out. The reason I'd recut that film so many times. It's missing a pinch of fantasy, don't you think? Fuck you. Absolutely fuck you, Fujimoto. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. It's only 200 pages. Take it, roll it up, and shove it up. Shove it right up where the sun don't shine. Go fuck yourself, Fujimoto. Fuck you. Absolutely fuck you, Tatsuki. Goodness gracious. Good God. What the fuck? it's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty fucking cool. I mean, honestly. When it comes down to making... Alright, if I take my premise and my whole conception of the film completely differently, or the film, it is a film. This is a film. The fact that I have to push the button to go through the pages and have to read the text instead of it coming through my ears is makes it a manga, but it's a film as far as I'm concerned, so we'll just dispense with that. And the film. If I throw away all of my preconceptions about what this actually is for, what is its purpose? What is your purpose? To pass butter. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to tell a story? Nah. Its purpose is to engage with the audience? Nah. None of these things. Throw them all away. Its purpose is to be a love letter toward film. How about that? Its purpose is to take the essence of what it is that makes film uniquely an interesting medium and express it as well as possible. Done. So far, so good, I might say. What do I mean? Capturing something forever, a moment that lasts indefinitely. Throughout time, can be repeated and relived. That is the essence of film. And that is not the same. It is not the same as capturing perfectly a moment of emotional truth, nor is it the same as capturing reality as it really is. It is through a window. It is through a lens. It is utterly limited. It is entirely under the purview of the creator. That is, your impression of the characters and being in existence within the film is their creation, and they have control over it. You don't get to know who his mom actually was until you get to know. You don't get to know. The filmmaker prevented you from knowing that. And Fujimoto, as filmmaker, producing filmmaker, showing filmmaker, got to show you that too, in that same way. What is shown and what is withheld, what is truth and what is fiction, is all in the realm. All in the realm of what the filmmaker controls. And this manga, top to bottom, front to back, is a love letter to that. Extracting out the essence of what makes it uniquely interesting and conveying it. And then having its characters say what it's doing in the thing to us, the audience, and take a bow. And that's the show. And that's the show, everybody. That's what we just experienced. And the bow is taken. That's pretty darn cool. So now I've added a layer to it. I'm now a human being failing to comprehend the multi-layered conveyance of what has been conveyed to me until it is eventually wrapped up, tied up with a neat little bow, and then it all seems obvious in retrospect, but of course it's not. I just spent 2 hours waffling about whether Eri is a real person, and if I were to go back and reread through, I might look at myself and be like, well, of course, you should have seen this all coming. But isn't that the joy of the thing? Isn't that part of the control of the author? Isn't that the whole beauty of it? I think yes. Because I have this movie. Even though this movie isn't real, right? Even though this picture of who Eri was, the last Eri, we have evidence from her friend that this is not correct. It's inaccurate. But this Eri, she is reborn with only the Pollyanna rose-tinted, polished version of her past self as background. That's really interesting. You know, I'll say something else. Movies are a new form of history keeping, of archiving. They've only been around for about 120 years, at most, in terms of real cinematography and the ability to capture things. And they give the distinct impression of reality, because you can't fake them, right? At least you couldn't until the last couple of years as AI art got... But you still kind of can't fake them. Film feels really real to us. But it's not. And it's an archiving tool, just as books and histories have been for many, many, many hundreds and thousands of years. But for all of that time, we've had this impression, this known impression, that the things that were written about reality, the things that were written down, weren't exactly true. You get all these impressions of all the kings of old and all the experiences and people and places, and they're all pretty colored by bias, right? But you get a camera, and you get this feeling like it's uncolored by bias, like it's just true. As we look back at history and say, I understand the way reality used to be because I see it in history, we must keep in mind that what we are seeing has been captured through a lens. Always. Just as Eri looks back and sees this picture-perfect, cleaned-up version of herself, and believes it to be who she really was, and uses that as the basis for her foundations, we, as individuals and as societies, look back at this kind of cleaned-up version of our history, of who we've been, of what we've done, and we use that as the foundations for our future selves. That can be positive leaning, right? If we build good foundations based on good things done in the past and beliefs in good things, that might be great. Or it could be really flaw-inducing if we look back and go, we're the greatest, we're exceptional even, we should probably spread our ideals and ways to everybody else, or things like that, right? This Eri is going to come out of this experience, probably, if I take everything as written and I buy it, right? It's probably going to come out of this experience as a better person than past Eri, than first Eri, right? Because past first Eri, we get evidence, was kind of mean and not great with people and whatever. This one's going to get an impression that's better and nicer and cleaner and calmer. But we don't get to know what that's going to do to her. Because the movie has captured what was, and we just get to move into the future. I think I have rarely read a piece of work with the type of density that this has. This was seriously unique and a really interesting introduction to a mangaka. Probably because this is totally unlike anything else the mangaka has probably ever written. Because fucking what? This is a multifaceted art criticism. This is not an art. This is not a pipe. Je ne suis un pipe, right? Seriously, this is not a manga, nor is it a film, nor is it a thing that you should read lightly. This is multifaceted art criticism. This is a textbook. This is a critique. This is if you don't have a grounding in the media that it's criticizing, it doesn't mean anything. Which means it does very little for me in terms of indicating who Tatsuki Fujimoto actually is as an author, because this is all in response to everything else. So now we have the joyous task of moving on to something new, and we get to do it without a delay or a pull or any sort of bullshit. So, having read Goodbye Eri, I am going to read Fire Punch next. That will be starting next week on Monday for Manga Monday, or Mango Monday. Mango Monday. Yum. I will be reading Fire Punch starting next week. I hope you will join me for it. I'm sure it will be a very different experience than this one, because, well, you don't have to reveal your tightly held candle of burning heart if you're just going to criticize everything around you and point at everything else, right? You don't have to reveal your true soul if everything in your film or your manga or your piece of creation is based on something else. But if you're going to tell a story that's your story, man, and I get the impression that Fire Punch is Fujimoto's story, man, then you gotta have a burning soul at the center of it. And I wonder if that will be even thematically relevant, given the whole Fire Punch part. I don't know. But we'll find out next week on Manga Monday. And we'll be doing even more Fujimoto on Fridays, baby. The Fujimoto sandwich, Fujimoto era tea begins now. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube-man read-through of Goodbye Eri. It has been that sure was a thing. That sure was a thing that we just read. Thanks for watching. See you next week for Fire Punch. Check it out on the Patreon. Peace.